Pop Culture Junkie is looking at the iconic movies of one of the most beloved stars, Keanu Reeves. This week's lesson is America's favorite puppy-loving assassin, John Wick.
Coming in hot from Olympus Games in Mesa, Arizona.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. This is your boy, Alex, and with me, I have my fellow junkies,
Haley, Nicole,
and Shauna.
And this week, we're going to continue our Keanu 101 and dive into John Wick. And so the movie came out in 2014 from Lionsgate, and
it's incredible.
It is.
Have you guys?
It's
iconic. Had you seen John Wick prior to like the last week?
I have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm the only one that.
Oh, this is your first time?
It. Yeah, I
really?
watched it for this episode. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow,
God! It took me a long time to watch it because longtime listeners will know if the dog dies, Shauna's not going to watch it. And basically, the plot of this movie is the dog dies.
Yeah. Well, sort of.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of more plot.
Yeah.
So very barely.
It drives the movie to for like through what
it's the
is
catapult
the purpose.
of
Yeah,
the movie.
exactly. So like, boom.
Yeah.
You know, John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, starts off with him like in the street. You're like, oh my God, what's happening? But then all of a sudden there's a flashback, and you understand that he has like a lady who is terminally ill, and you know she passes away within the first 5 minutes. And Keanu's grieving, is sad. It's the only person he's ever loved. And
it's his wife.
It's his wife. Yeah, not just some lady he
She's
sees.
not just like the side chick or something.
Yeah, and so she leaves him a puppy because it seemed like she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah. It was like a note that said like you're going to need somebody to love or something.
Yeah, other than your car. Because I guess, or at least saying that a car doesn't count.
Yeah, his car was awesome.
There's certain things that John Wick loves and values.
I do.
His dead wife, murder, his car, and dogs. I think that covers it.
Yeah,
that's his range of emotions.
Okay, wait, does he love murder? Like, did he, because this was unclear to me. So he was a retired hitman. Mm-hmm. We get very little detail as far as how, like, it comes out a little bit later, but even still, not really. Like, we get very little detail as far as, like, when exactly he retired and, like, did his wife know about it? And
you just need to watch the next John Wick movie.
Yeah, there's like what, 4 of them?
They're coming out with a 4th one. It's in development, but there are 3. And there's a lot of world building that kind of goes on throughout these movies. I mean, which they kind of hint at here. Like, you notice he pays for things in like gold coins, and there's that hotel. And
the Continental.
People seem to know who he is.
Right. Yeah.
So
see, and that was my question like the whole time, because obviously he like stepped away from the game to get with his woman. But I was like, you know, if he really loved murder, if that was his first love, then, you know, he would.
So we'll rank them
away.
Wife.
There you go.
Car, dogs, murder.
Okay,
Fair.
Okay, there we go.
And I think that's probably what, because it took me a while as well to like finally get into watching John Wick. And part of the reason I went into it was because there were so many and there was such a big hype. And when I first watched the first one, I was like, Haley, what is this? What's the point?
Yeah.
Why is he so mysterious? Like, why don't we know anything about this guy other than he likes his wife, cars, and the puppy? So yeah, he's driving with his car, puppy on the side, gets to the gas station, fills up his car. Some thugs are like, hey, I like your car.
Hey, it's Theon Greyjoy. Theon Greyjoy comes out and is like, I don't have a penis. Also, I like your car.
Theon
Sorry,
Greyjoy,
that's a deep cut.
What else did I see him in?
Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now I see why he's so angry.
He's very angry. He thinks the car will fill that void in his life. It's a crossover with Game of Thrones.
Well, I guess he was mad that John Wick wasn't going to sell him the car. So for some reason, they thought that it was enough for them to break into his home, beat him up, take his car, and leave a dead puppy there.
Oh my God. Which I still close my eyes. I have to close my eyes.
Yeah.
during
That was very sad.
It was sad. There was like blood and everything. And I again, a weird series of events, because I get like road rage or whatever. But now like, I'm like, okay, what are the odds you're going to run into like some Russian dudes at the gas station? And then what are the odds that they're going to be so pissed at your interaction that they're going to literally follow you to your house to like break in and steal your car and blah, 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 blah. And then what are the odds that you also happen to be this master assassin? It was just a lot of convenient things happening in order to drive the 5 minutes of plot.
No, yeah, I agree. The fact that they went to his house just because they were mad that they didn't get the car when they wanted.
He didn't even say much to him. He just kind of was like,
no,
everything has a price, bitch. And he's like, not this bitch. Like, that was it.
That was
it.
It didn't take much
And they
to
were
set
like,
that guy off.
we have to steal that guy's car immediately.
I don't feel like whatever happened at that gas station justified them going to
killing his dog.
Yeah.
Then the cop shows up, sees the dead body laying there. He goes, okay, have a nice night, John.
I love that part.
We're just going to ignore a dead body in the house? Okay.
Well, there's obviously some history between whatever organization John is in and the police.
Yeah, they seem to have
Again,
some kind of influence.
They leave so many holes for you to fill in as the viewer. Like, that cop shows up, they have that interaction, and he leaves, and there's nothing, it's never mentioned again, and you're just like, okay, I guess he's established in his neighborhood or something.
I think so.
That was funny.
Yeah.
I do have to shout out to this dog real quick before we move away. Shout out to Puppy, bless Puppy. I don't know if he had a name. I don't remember. I don't think I got to name him yet.
Daisy.
That's right.
Daisy the Beagle.
That is the most well-trained puppy I've ever seen.
Cute.
It holds it till the morning. Like, it wakes up John and like licks his face and it's like, I have to pee. Like any other puppy is pooping on your rug at this point. Like,
They put bacon grease on Keanu's face to get him to like lick.
Man, I thought
that's
he'd
such a good
licking my
idea.
face as well.
oh my God. Did anybody else like call over their dog or their cat during that scene? Was it just
my dogs are like old
No.
and stinky. Gone is the puppy phase. They're like the ones now where they're like breathing in my face and it just smells like a landfill. And I'm like, you go to the other couch now.
You can,
Go away.
I love you.
But if I was John Wick and these dudes just came into my house for no reason other than just them being mad, and I guess because one of them is missing a penis, then I would be just as upset and want to get revenge like he did.
Oh, absolutely. If someone came in and stole my Chevy and killed my dog
For absolutely no reason.
I would go bananas on them. And I told Buffy that last night. Like, I held her face during that scene and I was like, I will commit murder for you. So she knows what's up.
So like in a way I can understand why John Wick decided to like just go, crazyville on these guys. And yeah, it turns out that he is this well-known hitman because when they went to go drop off the car, the Russian thugs, the penisless man,
to
John Leguizamo, who was there, which also he only showed up once. I was really hoping
he
to see
shows
him
up again later in the movie.
Okay.
Other movie, spoiler alert.
I was going to say, yeah, he's like barely in it. One of my favorite things about watching this movie, I will say, was watching people pop up and me being like, what the crap? Is that Willem Dafoe?
I have one. I have my favorite one. And like, is that the Mayhem guy?
Yes.
Stop. I said that exact same thing. And then at the very end,
guy.
when they're all getting in car crashes, I was like, well, I hope they have Allstate.
Hey.
Yeah, he's the best. He was on Law and Order SVU like way back in the day. Dean Winters. Good old
Okay,
Dean
thank you.
You know what's
He
funny
has to
about
have
his
a
character
name.
though too? Because he seemed like he wasn't sure what was going on the entire
That's
time.
true.
either.
He's like, what did I get into?
Can you speak English? Should I go? Should I leave? Should I stay here?
Yeah, and when Michael Nyquist was talking to his son, just letting him know, like, you just really messed up.
Yeah, you messed with the wrong dude.
The Mayhem guy, what's his name? I don't want to keep calling him
Dean Winters.
Winters.
We're going to call it
Dean Winters.
Theon Greyjoy, the Mayhem guy.
He was just trying to leave.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, do you need me here? And he's like, no, stay. You need to watch me beat my son up for making a stupid mistake. And he's just like there, confused, like, oh my God, like, why? Why am
I'm
I
not
here?
even Russian. What is happening?
Like, yeah, and they're like speaking Russian sometimes, and he's just sitting there with his like hands on his lap, just like fingers crossed, like, oh my God, I hope I come out here alive.
I
And-
just want to know how one man can kill 77 people, and especially in the nightclub when he killed like probably half of that all at
That was
once.
dope.
I'm like,
That was
how
my-
is
I
one
love
man
that
doing
scene.
all of this work?
That was
Yeah.
my favorite scene, especially because apparently Keanu had the flu and a fever like 104 degrees
Jeez.
and filmed that scene. And he showed up and like learned the choreography and shot that scene like all in one day. Like when I'm sick, I can't even get out of bed.
Oh yeah, I grab every stuffed animal I own.
Yeah, I
I'm in
can't
bed the entire day. He did like the majority of his stunts for this movie, and they're all super impressive. I think that's my favorite thing about this movie is, sure, it's a shoot 'em up movie, but it's so like the intricate, like the gunplay is so impressive. And John Wick isn't just like spraying a bunch of bullets from a machine gun. It's like very precise.
Yeah.
He doesn't kill anybody who doesn't need to be killed.
I think that's why part of the reason I liked it so much was because of the violent, the sequences didn't feel like they were too unreal.
Yeah.
I felt like, anybody can, I felt like it was very realistic. Like people can just come out. They weren't like doing flips off of like buildings or, it wasn't the Matrix. It was just these regular guys. I mean, although John Wick did sustain a lot of injuries.
Yeah, he's got to have a vest on at some point, right? He does have that doctor in the hotel who like stitches him up.
That was cool. Yeah. Another thing that has zero backstory or anything is this hotel where the assassins all stay. I'm like, what?
It always like the first time I watched this too, I just wondered, what if you're just a person? You walk up, you're like, what a beautiful hotel.
Yeah.
And you walk in, you're like, how much is a night? And then everyone's just kind of looking at you, like shining their guns. And you're like,
5 gold coins.
Right? Oh, I have $65. I'll just go to the Motel
I don't
6.
know if
It's fine.
$65 is going to even let you to get into the Continental for a night.
Can normal people just stay there? It seems kind of like a cool place. The customer service is amazing.
Yeah. He was.
Unless you happen to like be in the room next to Adrian Palicki's character, who that was my personal favorite of like the people to pop up. She was the other assassin that like came
Miss
after.
Perkins.
Yeah, Miss Perkins. So she's on. I first saw her on Friday Night Lights, but she's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Orville and a whole bunch of things that I watched. So
Yeah, she's a badass.
yeah, it was cool to see her, and obviously she fights in like almost everything that she did.
Yeah.
She was going to be in a Wonder Woman TV series. They actually shot the pilot.
We watched that for that episode, remember? And it was super weird and cheesy, and she had like gold pants on or something.
It actually happened?
Yeah.
They shot the pilot, yeah.
Nicole and I watched it for a Wonder Woman episode of Pop Culture Junkie back in season 1.
I do not remember.
I was like,
that.
just nod and
I
smile.
was gonna say, I can't.
She's like, I blocked that out of my memory.
That was her. She's gorgeous.
But yeah, I liked her, so I was happy to see her.
She breaks the rules, which is not okay in the Continental.
I mean, well, part of the reason he killed so many people was because they put a hit on the hitman. That's the only reason why, there were so many people after him and why he had to like really fight. Because all he wanted was to like show little man a lesson.
Yeah, dude. And what a wimp. Like, oh God, I'm sorry I keep calling him Theon, but he couldn't even fight his own battles. Like everywhere he went, he's
just throwing
like,
people in the way for him.
Yeah, dude.
My favorite part actually was in the bathhouse, and John Wick had some dude on the ground. He looks up and he sees, what's his name?
Yeah, what's the character's actual
Are you talking
name?
about Yosef?
Yosef, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
with
you,
an
thank
I.
you.
I watched it with the subtitles,
Yosef,
so
yes.
that's how they spelled it. But yeah, he's there in the bathhouse, in the tub.
Yeah.
And John Wick has like a gun pointed at homeboy's face.
Yeah.
And he looks up to Yosef, and you can see the fear
Just,
in his
oh,
eyes. He's like,
shit.
"Oh crap, this is about to happen."
Naked and afraid.
And then instead of John Wick just shooting him right there, like, because he could have.
Yeah.
He like let him see him like murder.
He wants
whoever
it
this
to
guy
be
was.
more up close and personal. And that's what
Yeah.
I thought at that point. I was like, he could kill him really easily right now, but he wants to like make eye contact.
Yeah,
with
he's
him.
like, I want to show you why they call me the boogeyman.
Right, Baba Yaga.
Oh my God.
Which Baba Yaga is not the boogeyman, is it? Like, I feel like that's a whole different thing.
I don't know. I
don't
don't
know.
speak Russian.
They mentioned that, and I was like, I thought Baba Yaga was like a scary old lady in like in like
That
lore.
would be the boogeyman.
Right? It's the Boogie Woman. Russian listeners, comment below.
And like and subscribe.
And like and subscribe. Now on Audible.
I do like how he kind of just goes in and steals a dog, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sick.
So cute.
Yeah, that was-
Wait, he steals a dog, right?
yeah,
Yeah, at the very end.
I was
Yeah.
confused about that. He literally just goes into this vet place or some kind of
Shelter,
Yeah.
and takes the dog.
Hell
Why
yeah.
not?
Rescue that
What happened
pupper.
to his car? Also, he just left walking.
Yeah,
You
why not?
have to tune into John Wick 2 to see what happens to his car.
Well, the funny thing about, you mentioned this whole backstory or whatever. So we sat down to watch this, and never having seen it before, my husband's like, I'm actually really glad that you have to watch this for your podcast because I don't think that we would have ever watched it. And then it ends, and I was kind of like, that was forgettable. My husband's like, oh, I guess we got to watch the next one.
You have to. I don't know. I really like
Was this
these
his first time
movies.
too?
Yeah, it was his first. My husband's really big into action movies. See, that's the thing is like I'm just not really big into action movies. I'm a more like whatever.
Says the Marvel fan.
That's the thing. Well, Marvel's that's a whole different
Yeah.
thing, I think. But I like cheesy like rom. You know what I mean? Like I'll watch The Lake House 17 times before I choose to watch like John Wick. And it's not that I like dislike this movie by any means. It was just it's one of those things where it's like you have to understand that there is 5 minutes of plot at the beginning, and the rest is going to be shooting and fighting. And if that's what you're like into, then that's cool. But to me, it's very much like watching you know what it is? It's like my kids who watch YouTube videos of other people playing video games. Like that's what it's like to me. It's like watching a YouTube video of a guy get into a fight in a nightclub, And like you're like, oh, that's cool.
But it's a well choreographed fight.
It is
in a
indeed,
nightclub.
and I appreciated like you mentioned, like the specific types of shots, and there is specific types of fighting techniques. Like Miss Perkins is using like actual Brazilian jiu-jitsu like in their fight.
Yeah, and John Wick was doing like
cool.
Japanese jiu-jitsu and like mixing it with other styles of martial arts. Like it's really impressive, I think.
Yeah. I really feel like this could happen in life and we don't even know about it because of how like realistic it was. Honestly, if this was actually Keanu Reeves on the side, I'd be okay with it.
Would be shocked. This is just what
I'd
he
be like,
does.
this is awesome. Yeah, like if this happened to Keanu Reeves and he was like some like secret hitman, I'd root for him. The
I
entire time.
absolutely think that Willem Dafoe does that on the side too, though. I think he absolutely has shot a gun before.
Willem Dafoe is the weirdest looking dude I've ever seen
He's
in my life.
such a weird dude.
Every time he came on screen, I was like, how did this guy get a career?
Because that's what
with
he
his
looks like.
face?
Because of
It's
his
so
face.
bizarre. It's like he's like Gumby or something. I don't know. Like someone made his face out of clay.
For some reason, I thought that Willem Dafoe was going to reveal himself as John Wick's dad.
Oh,
I thought the
what
same.
a twist!
Yeah.
Because, at first, he was contracted to kill John Wick.
Yeah.
And he's like across the building, sniping like his hand, aiming at John Wick. And he misses.
Well, he missed on purpose. He fired like a warning shot. Yeah.
I didn't realize that until afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, that's why I was like, wait, did he do it on purpose? Does this guy mean something to him?
Bud, man.
Is that like his daddy? Like, what's going on?
No, they're just bros.
Could
Yeah.
be daddy in a different
Assassin
way.
Bros.
Hey.
Oh.
Just assassin
That'd be-
daddy bros.
It's a very different movie.
You know it
different vibes.
probably exists. You know there's a John Wick porn for sure. And you know I'm going to watch it.
I don't know why, but when I first saw it on screen, like before they kind of invaded his house, I don't know why I pictured it as like all glass, and I'm like, why is this man just living in glass houses?
You're still stuck in the lake house.
I am. I really am. Because that was
Keanu
a
Reeves
good-
just loves a good high floor to ceiling window.
My favorite part was when there's this hit out on him. And granted, like he doesn't know that there's a hit at the time, but he's in this hotel full of assassins. And he's sleeping with like his window open or whatever, like the curtains wide open.
He's just lounging.
Willem Dafoe's just staring right
That's
in
why
there.
I'm also wondering whether they already had something planned out, whether he purposely left his window open so that Willem Dafoe can protect him. Like, I was trying to make sense of it.
I feel like we're
because-
getting too deep here, guys.
I know. They didn't think that far ahead. Well, I really, truly think that when they came up with the idea for this movie, they were like, okay, I've got a pitch. Keanu Reeves kills a bunch of people. And they're like, what's the story? I don't know. Kill the dog and then have him kill all the people. And they're like, it's golden. Let's run with
Let's
it. Like,
do
I think
it.
that was the end.
But then they were like, okay, wait, if we want to make sequels, put some gold coins, a hotel, this is going to make lots of money.
It sounds to me like they weren't even sure they were going to make sequels. I think, they were just like putting ideas together and like, oh, we like all the things here. Just like put it in the movie. Oh, crap, it doesn't make sense. We need to make more sequels.
I think, too, one of the things that is appealing to this role for Keanu, or like as a viewer, like you mentioned, oh, what if this was Keanu on the side? I feel like this character couldn't be further from who Keanu Reeves actually is. You know what I mean? Like when he plays like a nice guy in a movie, he's just kind of playing himself. Versus in this, because he's known as this notoriously nice guy, for him to be this murderer,
Yeah.
But in a way, I see the similarities between Keanu Reeves and John Wick. Because to me, they're both mysterious men. Like nobody really knows what they really do, how they live their life, but they do know how they live their life, and everybody respects them for it.
Keanu likes dogs. I mean, everyone likes dogs.
I know, who doesn't like
I was just throwing that out there like we're good friends. He likes dogs.
So there was a dog here. There was a dog in Lake House. Was there a dog in The Replacements?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, and not unless you count John Favreau.
But speaking of him being a nice person, I read this thing on Facebook, and it says in 2010, on his birthday, he walked into a bakery and bought a brioche with a single candle, ate it in front of the whole bakery, and then whenever like someone just came up to him, he just bought him coffee and like talked with them and stuff. And then he also, when he was filming The Lake House, he overheard a conversation of two costume assistants. One was crying, saying he would lose his house if he didn't pay $20,000. On the same day, Keanu deposited the necessary amount in his bank account.
Oh my
And he
God.
donated a large sum to hospitals, including $75 million of his earnings from The Matrix to charities.
Jeez.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I want to stand near Keanu Reeves and just be like, God, those student loans, they're overwhelming me. Shauna Trinidad, this is my Venmo right now. Oh my God. Just see what happens.
Hey, you
No, but
never
that's
know.
really cool. That's an early.
There's a lot of stories, I think, about him kind of similar to that, you know, like just random good deeds that he's done or like anonymous things that, you know, he donated X amount and then said, I don't want credit. And then, of course, someone runs to the internet and gives him credit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he seems just like a genuinely good dude, which is why I think it's all the more interesting to see him as a master assassin.
I
Yeah.
think John Wick probably is a good dude.
He seems like he is a good dude. Everybody liked him.
That's his job. I do things on the clock I'm not proud of.
Like, unless they were contracted to kill him, everybody had a good relationship with
Yeah,
John
and
Wick.
like even the two like ladies right before he burned like the Russian people's stuff, he's like, time to get out, like you gotta go. He doesn't kill randos.
Exactly. Like Francis at the bathhouse, he goes up to Francis, puts the gun on his neck. He's like, Francis.
Yeah,
And
you
then
gotta
Francis
go.
is like, Mr. Wick.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Francis, how you doing? Why don't you take the night off? And Francis is like, thank you.
See,
You,
that's
like,
a
leave.
good person. He could have given him his life off, Haley. He
This
gave him the
brings
night
up-
off.
Yeah, and he told the ladies to have a good day once they ran out.
Thank you.
So have a good day. Don't die in this fire.
This brings up an interesting debate in general, which is with characters like John Wick or Dexter or people who are
Anti-heroes.
anti-heroes, right? Like, it's interesting because you watch the movie and you naturally root for them.
Yeah.
They're set up as the protagonist. But if this were real life, would you root for them? Like, I remember watching The Punisher and having that same thought process and being like, I love The Punisher. Absolutely love The Punisher. But if this was real life and a dude was just running around mowing down people,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have the same enthusiasm for that person.
No,
So
that's true.
why do we do that in story?
I mean, he was killing people that were after him. It's not like he's just out killing random people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't like be like, hey, yeah, go kill. But like, I'm also like, well, you're not killing me because I'm not after you.
But not every single one of these people was after him. Some of them
Yeah.
were just at work.
Some of them
They're
are
the
just taking a
stormtroopers.
bath.
Yeah.
Taking a bath in a basement. Who amongst us hasn't gone to a nightclub and gone into the seedy basement and taken a bath?
Everybody look at me. No, not me.
We know how things go down in Boston.
It gets sweaty.
That's why you have to take the bath.
Yeah, there was a lot of like just like craziness happening. I'm trying to remember more parts of it. All I can think about now is the bathhouse. That does seem like a really cool like setup though.
No, I definitely want to
love
go to
that.
the Red Circle. I mean, beyond the gunfighting and stuff. But like going before the fighting starts.
Yeah, but like even going back to like Haley's point, I'm thinking of the Punisher and I'm having a hard time deciding whether or not I would root for them because
Yeah.
the Punisher, he goes after the bad guy. Dexter, he lets the system do its best and then
Picks up
time
the
again and
pieces.
again
Yeah.
it fails. So he's like, well, like I guess I gotta do it. You know, I have a code to make sure that I know what's going on. But also, as a regular person, I wouldn't know those intentions.
That's true.
All I would be seeing is this dude going crazy on like just going ham on these guys that they think are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just interesting to think about, like, because in a story it sets it up like eye for an eye. You know what I mean? Like, you kill my dog, I kill everyone you've ever met. You know, and you're like,
Naturally.
yes, that makes sense. I'm with you,
Absolutely.
right? But then you're like, well, in real life, I don't know. Like, I do remember this one story of a dad. There was this teenage girl. She was asleep, and a guy broke in. This was just a couple years ago, and a guy breaks in and tries to attack her. And the dad came in and killed this guy, shot and killed this guy, and he faced no charges. And I remember kind of there was this wide, applause or celebration of this dad, like, and good for you. And I would have done the same thing, and rightfully so, So in some ways, I think maybe as a society, we do kind of root for bad guys to get what's coming to them, even if it's in the form of, jujitsu.
Immediate death. Yeah.
As long as we know that bad guy actually deserves it.
Exactly. He got all those bad guys got their day in court. Wait, I said their day in court, but no, they didn't. They got pencils to the head.
They were obviously in the wrong place at the wrong time. If they were at this bathhouse with this dude then they might also be engaged in some questionable activity.
You're hanging out with a puppy killer in a bathtub, like you're going to die.
So the moral of the story is to not go to the bathtub in the basement of the club or talk to Russians at the gas station.
If your bro says, yo, I killed this puppy last night, you don't hang out with him anymore.
Yeah, and he was so proud of himself afterwards. When he brought in that car to John Leguizamo, was like, yeah, I just went and I messed up this dog. John was like, you killed his dog?
Bro,
what?
It's not okay.
And he knew immediately when he brought in the car whose car that was.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And, he punched him and everything, and he's like, oh, my face. Oh, I'm going to tell my dad. And he goes to his dad. And
I really do wonder that, like, the phone call, like, hey, John? Yeah, we got this movie, John Wick. Yeah, 27 seconds. You'll be in it for 27 seconds. Like, and John Leguizamo just being like, yeah, sounds good. I'll be there.
He's probably like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves' movie. And he's like, I love that guy.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Willem Dafoe? Yeah, I'm in.
Love that guy.
Yeah, these guys don't really show up for that long either.
No, they don't.
Right. No,
but they make an impact.
They do.
They're memorable.
They do.
Okay, let's get into some more kind of trivia and fun facts about the movie. I will say I did fall asleep for like 10 minutes, somewhere in the middle. I don't know when, because I fell asleep and he was killing some people, and then I woke up and he was still killing some people.
Wait.
All right, let's see if we can figure out what point in the movie this is, and then we can explain to you, see, like, shot by shot, exactly what happened.
Where was he?
I don't remember. It was after the bathhouse sequence. Okay. It was not the nightclub sequence, because I remember that very vividly.
Was it when he actually killed the son?
I think it was right before that.
Okay, so you saw that happen, and his last line was, it's just an effing, and then dead.
Yes.
I was like, perfect.
Yeah, yes, it was right before that, because I do remember kind of waking up and being like, oh, okay, wait, he's actually going to kill the guy. Okay, good, I got to watch it.
So it was after Perkins.
Peel the eyes. Yeah, it was after Perkins, before he killed the Yosef guy.
And you saw the church.
Right? The church?
The church.
Oh, there it is. It was the church.
It's the church.
It was the church.
You narrowed it down. I have no recollection of it.
Well, they burned, like, the church was a front for the Russian, like, mob. And so John Wick goes in there and, like, intimidates a fake priest, which is pretty cool. And then they go to the back, and then that's when he lights all their, like, money and goods.
That was hilarious to me, because literally it's so, like, because I'm wondering, because it was an absolute front. Like, they had people praying and, like, singing or, like, doing, like, hymns and whatever. And I'm thinking, how much of an effort is it for people to, like, be hired to do this? Like, was there, like, a casting call? They're like, hey, we just need you to, like, show up to this church and just pray.
Or what if you actually, like, you have that day where you try to check into the Continental Hotel and they turn you away and you're like, well, whatever, I guess I'll go to the church or something. And then you go to the church and you're like, wait, this church, like, everything is
this
fake.
Whole town?
Yeah, because then everybody just gets up and then starts shooting at John Wick. Literally every single person there.
Except for that one old lady that was just sitting there.
Yeah, there was an old lady
like,
actually praying, I think.
She's okay. She was literally just sitting there, and he shoots everyone but her, and she's still just sitting there as he runs down to get the money and put it on fire.
She's like, I'm praying for you.
So that's what happened also, is that there was like a safe, a vault, and there was like a bunch of money, and John Wick burns it down.
I have a vague memory of him like walking away from a fire.
And then Michael, the Russian boss man, he, gets to the church pissed off, like, oh my God, I'm lost everything. And then you find out that he had like a bunch of stuff there, like CDs, I don't know, recordings. They weren't really clear on like what it was, but he had something there in addition to the money that he was going to use that he cannot replace.
And he very easily could have killed John Wick in that
That
moment.
too. Did you see John Wick be tied up?
Knocked unconscious, and I'm like, this movie could have been over
All right, so that's another thing that happened.
Yeah.
This is all brand new information.
So, yeah, John Wick was pretty much staking until the Russian mob boss got there. And then when he did, he pretty much just like went haywire, like to like just knock them all down and figure out, to interrogate him to tell him where his son is so he can go kill him. And at that time, John Wick gets hit by this SUV, flies like 50 yards, and then wakes up tied up to a chair.
They very easily
in
could have
this
been
warehouse.
like, done, dead.
That happens in action movies a lot, though. People get captured or whatever, and instead of them killing, they're like, I will lecture you now for 35
That's exactly what
It
happened.
reminds me of the first Bond movie with Daniel Craig when they tie him to the chair and like naked and beat his balls up. And I'm like, you could just kill him.
No, yeah, I thought that too, because they knocked him out.
Yeah.
And then they picked him up, drove him to this warehouse, tied him up, and then woke him up. Like, they could have definitely ended it. He wouldn't have to worry about his son being killed anymore. Like, it would have been over. But he, for some reason, really had to tell John, I had videotapes in there. You destroyed my videotapes.
If that would have happened, though, we wouldn't have gotten what I think was probably Keanu's best acting in the movie.
Is this the like, I guess I'm back? Is
I'm
that the
thinking
line?
I'm back.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Tell
all
me
right.
you were awake for
That's
that
when
part.
I woke up.
Okay.
Yes, it was like,
if you don't
they
tell
keep
me where
asking
you're-
me if I'm back, and I guess I'm back.
Oh, yeah, I've got goosebumps. for that one.
Chill.
Yeah, that was great. He got so much. He was like, there's all this rage in him. And he's just like, oh.
You killed that from me. It's like, yeah, they did. Oh, Keanu, man.
See, now I will tell you that despite my apparently, 15, 20-minute nap in the middle of the film,
she got a full rim cycle.
it was good. The thing that I was most invested in was actually when the movie ended. And when the special features kicked in. Because whatever version I got on Prime Video, it was like the movie and the special features together. So the movie ended and I go to turn it off and it's an hour left. And I'm like, what the heck?
Wait, what?
Yeah. So the special features just kicked in, right? Like in the middle of the credits.
Oh, that's
so I was
unfair.
like, well, that's cool. So we started watching it and it showed the whole behind the scenes of like Keanu learning all of the fighting and all the like the gun play, I guess is what you call it, which sounds oddly sensual.
Right. Want to
but-
participate in some gunplay later?
gunplay.
No, I value my life.
But it was cool because it showed how he spent 6 months before they ever filmed anything. He spent 6 months just training to play the role. And they said he would show up 5 days a week, like 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Jeez.
So it was just a full-time job for 6 months. Not choreographing everything, but they would teach him moves and sequences. And they were like, we can get a stunt guy for this. And he was like, no, like I want to be the one to do it. And all of the driving, every time the car skid, every time that's all
when
Keanu
he's
driving.
just randomly going to a parking lot and doing like Tokyo drift stuff. I was like, I guess, oh my God. And I remember thinking, I hope the dog's not in the car with him. Like, please tell me he took the puppy home before he's just going.
Yeah.
The dog's not in the car, thank God, because that would be just
He
vomit.
probably was like, at some point in this movie, can I Tokyo drift? And they were like, well, there's no real reason to, but we'll just write a sequence in the movie to show that you learned how to do it.
But yeah, you could tell it was him driving though, which was
so
cool.
all of it, I mean, like every single, like that was the thing that I appreciated was they never had to do weird cutaway scenes or anything like that. Like they were close up.
And that's why the action was so good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when they do those fast cuts in action movies, it's not impressive in the slightest. It's kind of disorienting. And here you can see who the murderer and the murderee is every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm thinking now that maybe that car Tokyo Drift like scene, I think that was kind of establishing the bond that John Wick has with his car to show like, hey, I really do love my car and how hard it goes vroom.
You know what?
Ka-chow.
I mean, I have a very loving relationship with Madonna, my car.
Madonna.
This is brand new
Like, I didn't know you were Madonna style.
She's
I
an
totally
icon,
understand. Well, I like sat in my car one day, and then the first thing I said was Madonna, and then
I love that.
That's how it happened.
My car is named Gumdrop.
Nice.
because it looks like a little gumdrop.
My car is named the Bus because that's what on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's what they call their vehicle.
I love it. Yeah. Nicole?
The Bus.
Mine's Snow White.
Wow, we all have names.
I knew we all had them.
Of
I knew they
course.
were in there.
All right. I wonder what John Wick names his car.
Betsy.
I could see that.
That's so aggressive.
Oh, it's a good Betsy. No, Betsy. It's a good Betsy. I'm thinking I'm back.
Oh, man.
Oh my
No, but yeah, he
I brought all that up to say I love it when people like go hard for the thing that they're doing. Like the fact that he put in all that work and he did not have to.
Yeah.
Like he could have easily been like, yes, I will make John Wick. And you get me stunt people to do that. You know, like I know some actors or whatever where I've been disappointed to realize that they have done like none of their own stunts. Or like, I hate to say this, but Pedro Pascal, I love him dearly, but he is in that Mandalorian suit like next to never.
When they literally take the helmet off.
It is never him. And I'm like, maybe part of that is just because Disney doesn't want to pay him to be in the suit all the time. But anytime there's like gun sequence, it's freaking John Wayne's son or whatever. And anytime there's fighting, it's some other martial arts guy. And so Pedro Pascal's like only in it once a season or something, and he gets like all the credit. And again, I love him dearly, so it's fine. But for that is why that speaks to me a little bit.
So originally I heard that the role of John Wick, or at least that character, was going to be like an older man.
Like in his 60s.
Yeah, like with his like oxygen tank like ready. Like when he
Not
needed.
that anyone in their 60s is
I was like, wait a second.
Geriatric.
Actually, no, 60s look really good nowadays.
Especially Madonna. Speaking of Madonna.
That's right. Yeah. She's in her 60s?
She looks good. I think she's in her
Probably.
60s. Yeah.
She looks 40 to me.
Hey, there's that movie. What was that movie? Reds or whatever. That's all about like
the retired,
the retired,
like,
the retired
Sylvester
assassins or
Stallone
whatever.
and-
Yeah,
They have that other one where that's a bunch of like old dudes. The Expendables. Yeah. Where it's just a bunch of old disgruntled men killing people.
Yeah, so I guess it would have been one of those guys.
Yeah.
And I cannot see them doing their own stunts.
No, absolutely not.
So I think, Keanu was like, I'm just going to like, use my talents. And, part of the reason they had Keanu was because of his experience in action movies. He's like a seasoned actor.
Yeah. I mean, he's in, his 50s. Like, I mean, not that that's old, but it's impressive that he's doing all of this. And like, even later into his career, seems to be learning more and more. And as the movies go along, the stunts in like the way he kills people get more creative and like interesting too.
So this is 2014. How long into Keanu's career is this? Like when did he start? Like in the 80s or something?
Oh gosh, yeah, with like
80s,
Bill
sure.
and Ted must have been in the 80s, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he's like, definitely well seasoned. He's like, I can finally just do this. Yeah.
He's a veteran. Well, and I don't know, in an industry in general that doesn't want to cast people over the age of like 30.
Yeah.
Like I always appreciate seeing people of, and that I grew up watching and stuff still have these awesome roles.
The other movies too get some, spoilers for John Wick 2 and 3, but I mean, Halle Berry shows up eventually and like Ruby Rose. They have some interesting people start kind of coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these movies continue with they're in this.
I think I have to rewatch those because I did leave this movie confused. It was exciting to watch, but there were so many plot holes.
Yeah.
The dog was cute. It was like a nice little pity at the end. But he really just stole that dog.
He rescued that dog.
All right,
It was like it was in a cage and it was crying out and it wanted to be free. Just like he was in a cage.
Was there
crying
another
out,
beagle
wanting to
in
be
there?
free of his grief. I don't
There's
know.
lots of dogs. How did he choose?
Yeah.
That was a hard part for me when I adopted my dog. I want to take all of you out. He just frees all the dogs. That would have been sick.
I thought he was going to. That's where I thought, because they were all like yipping.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's going to open all the cages and they're all going to run free. But then I'm glad he didn't do that because they
Yeah.
all just would have died.
Yeah, they need to get
All
adopted.
stray
Yeah.
dogs. Yeah, that would have been sad.
I'm going to assume that John Wick went home, logged onto Facebook, and would like put out like, hey, this is shelter I saw, and like all these dogs really need good homes, and like posted he posted a link to it, and everyone's
John
like,
Wick has a Facebook.
yeah, absolutely. And probably a dating profile eventually. It's a little fresh now, so not right now.
That's what they don't tell you is that's actually he met his wife on Tinder.
He met her at a lake house writing letters back and forth.
He's like, into interest, gunplay.
She's like, sounds hot. It's all coming back. It's all coming back.
Hand-to-hand combat.
So in the other movies, we do find out that she knew about his kind of
I don't
hitman
remember.
life.
We definitely get more of a backstory of like this organization and the gold coins and like what he's a part of and all that jazz.
Yeah, but even that is pretty unclear because it's just this like assassins society.
Yeah.
And, they use this hotel. They got these strict rules.
Yeah.
No violence in there, which I think is cool. Like if you're in a place with all these assassins, like how do you feel safe in there?
Right.
Unless, there are strict rules that you're not supposed to kill anybody there.
No sex in the champagne room.
That's a rule?
Yeah.
That's
just a societal rule.
Oh.
Sorry.
I thought in the Continental, I was like, wow, that kind
I
of
like how surprised Alex was like, wait, I've been breaking that rule. This whole
He's
time.
like, I had sex in the champagne room last night.
It's okay, guys, I don't have a champagne room.
I'm sure the Continental does.
There is a prequel TV series set in the Hotel Continental coming to streaming, but I don't think Keanu has anything to do with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. They really took the success of John Wick and ran with it. They're like, we will make 11 billion sequels.
So many. There's world building.
Yeah. I know a lot of cosplayers who cosplay as John Wick and carry around little stuffed dogs or whatever.
Yeah, actually, when I finished watching it, I wanted to play it, like on a video game. And then I found out that there is a video game. Yeah, John Wick Hex.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of like cartoonish style.
Really?
Yeah. It's not like you're like 3D.
Like a first-person shooter or anything?
No, not really. It looks like a strategy game. I haven't played it, but
Interesting.
yeah, it looks like an interesting game. I mean, it didn't look interesting enough for me to want to play it, but
Interesting enough to mention.
yeah, I knew that I wanted to be John Wick.
Someone out
watching
there
it.
will play this game.
I think it has good reviews and stuff, but I don't know. The style didn't really catch my attention.
All right. Speaking of ratings and reviews, on Rotten Tomatoes, our go-to review website,
Never gets it wrong.
86% critic review and 81% audience review for
That's hella
John
fresh.
Wick. How you guys feel?
I don't know because I do love it that much,
Yeah, I do too.
but yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
But that's the point of it. They want you to come back. They answered everything in the first movie. They can't milk that cash cow. I mean, they can't make the sequels we all really want to see.
But I mean, I guess maybe that's where the magic comes from, is that they're able to create this world and want you to have more. They putting all these things like the Continental and the coins,
Yeah.
like John Wick and how,
Everyone
everybody
knows
knows
him.
him.
Yeah.
Like they're putting all these things to make you want to like sit there and figure out what is this guy's deal. And at the end of it, they don't tell you. And so you're there like, oh man, I'm so excited. I want to be John Wick and figure out what it is. And then boom, you got some more video games, 4 more movies, a TV series.
All of the John Wick.
Yeah.
I agree with the 86%. I thought it was really good, especially for the genre. I mean, like action movies can be so... I can see why you wouldn't like them, like especially if they have those heavy cuts. Like, God, I remember being dragged by my ex-boyfriend to so many just ridiculous action movies that like I don't even remember the names of anymore. Yeah. But it's just because they're not like the choreography is not as good as it is in John Wick. So I think like for the genre, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I will say, if I objectively step out of it and just look at it kind of at the movie for what it is, like because I think of some action movies that I have genuinely loathed, like the Bourne series, Bourne movies. Yeah, I cannot stand them. Like I would rather do anything than have to watch those movies ever again. So this, at least, I didn't want to turn it off. I wasn't like, oh, I'm bored or what. I did fall asleep, but it was at least when I was awake, it was good enough. I will give it an 80%. And if I am objectively looking at it compared to like the other Keanu movies that we've watched so far, infinitely better than The Replacements, just in terms of quality and whatever. So.
I got to say, I think that's probably another reason why it has a high rating on the Tomameter.
Tomameter.
Tomatometer.
It's the
Tomameter.
Thank you, Nicole.
It's like thermometer, speedometer, thermometer.
But tamamo is not a word, so it cannot be a tamamometer.
Tomato.
Tomameter.
Tomato tamamo.
Tomato.
Hey, guys, English, whatever. Is it real?
Tomatometer.
But I think...
Somebody who works at Rotten Tomatoes, please comment below.
But that makes sense, though,
English
because
teacher
it's
in
called
me is
Rotten...
can't
it's called
compute.
Rotten Tomatoes, so why wouldn't it be the Tomatometer?
Tomameter just sounds cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to go on.
But-
We're going to Sean on this one. ASU, okay?
We go Devils.
Devils.
I forgot what ASU too. You guys are both wrong. Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think because this is... what's his name? Keanu Reeves doing this. I think because of Keanu Reeves doing the role of John Wick is why they gave it a high rating, because he does a great job here.
Yeah.
I feel this is the perfect role for Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because this is like man of mystery.
Because he only has 5 lines in the movie. This is perfect for him. He says 10 words.
I think he emotes really well in this movie. I mean,
He
there's a
does.
couple lines where, he's just kind of like, "Hi, I'm Keanu," which is like just kind of him. But like when he serves, like in the beginning when he has that bullet wound, like his hands are shaking, and I'm like, this is good. Like,
And then he was like stitching himself up at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah. What do you agree with this, Nicole, with the tomato meter?
Tomameter.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd do it that high. I'd probably do in between the 81 and 86. So whatever that is, 84, whatever, 83. Just because for me, it was all over the place. And yeah, I get it. That's like the point of the movie, so it can be a second one. But also, I'm like, okay, you could have answered a little more questions or just laid it back a tiny bit for me. Because I don't know, for me, when I watch movies, like I'm all over the place already because I'm not really a big fan of sitting down and just sitting there for 2 hours straight watching a movie. That's why I like TV shows, because I can stop after like half an hour and get up, do something, come back. Whereas a movie, like I have to sit there for the 2 hours and watch it.
You guys getting distracted and taking naps.
It reminds me of
Come
like
on.
this meme that was like will you sit down and watch a 2.5 hour movie? And I was like, hell no. And then it was like, what if we split it up into like 6 30-minute segments? And it's all, you bastard, I'm in.
Yeah, I can't sit there for a 2 hour movie, but I can sit on TikTok for 2 hours and be totally fine.
So I'm wondering
It's a generational thing.
if this rating was given after the other movies came out or before we even knew there were going to be any sequels.
I think probably before. Yeah.
And I also wonder if it was anybody else besides Keanu Reeves, like what the rating would be. Like, because I do think if you put any woman in this role, it would not have been a blockbuster success.
I think it would have been.
I feel like
personally think it would have
dude
been
bros
dope.
would have jumped all over it
Yeah.
and been like,
You're
this
probably
sucks because like I use the example, The Old Guard, that Charlize Theron movie. Like that's an action movie that I really, really liked. And I guess maybe there's a little bit of like a sci-fi element to it too. So that's probably why. But that did not get, people didn't just go crazy for The Old Guard, like this Netflix movie. But objectively, I enjoyed that a lot more. But I think that's partially because it's like a female-led
So this wouldn't be
franchise.
a Jessica Wick.
I don't think so. No.
I mean, like Gunpowder Milkshake is pretty similar to John Wick too. In
That's what I was thinking of.
yeah, she's like an assassin, and she kind of seems to be part of like literally an assassin society too, and it's all women. And, I'm a woman, but I liked John Wick more. I thought it was better, but like that was a good movie. I really liked Gunpowder Milkshake, and I feel like it didn't really get a bunch of hype. But like Keanu's just so universally loved right now that I think
Keanu sans.
it's the Keanu sans, man. It's the Brendan Fraser and the Keanu sans. They need to team up for a movie so bad.
Holy crap.
Oh my God.
That'd be amazing.
John Wick 4, guys. Let's
John
go
Wick
hope.
4, Brendan Fraser. Yes, please. Manifest it, Nicole.
I got you.
Manifest
And then
it.
The Rock comes out in the scorpion suit.
But it's the bad CG scorpion from the original movie.
I think I would like it if it was the same story, same plot, like everything the same, but it was just a woman. I think it would be. I personally think it would be.
Oh, it'd be badass. We're just saying, would it be as commercially successful?
Right.
Mwah. Patriarchy and all that. Oh, yeah. But let's rate our boy Keanu. How do we think he did in this movie?
I'm going to go with a B+. Just because the action-wise, pretty good. Yeah, he did all of his stunts on his own, sure. But yeah, talking wise, wasn't very much. So I'm like, but maybe an A-. I'll give him an A- because he did do all of his stuff. So I'll give him benefit of the doubt on that one.
I'm going to give Keanu an A+ for this movie, you guys.
Nice.
I think this is him in his element. You can tell he's genuinely having fun and enjoying it. And like the acting was the gunplay and the shooting, and he nailed all of that. And I do think that he emoted well during his scenes. I believed him that he was screaming at that Russian guy, "You killed my dog!"
Yeah.
Like
the delivery
I felt it.
was top notch.
A+.
Yeah,
Keanu.
I gotta see now because I came in thinking kind of like the same B+, A-, but he could get A+ for this
He
one.
nailed this one.
Yeah, he could get A+ for this one, and I think part of it is because this is seasoned Keanu. The last two movies that we saw were kind of a decade before.
Mid-tier Keanu.
Yeah, and they were like romantic comedies in a sense. So they didn't really like push him physically even as John Wick did. And to see him committed to that and to know that he like we were saying did all his stunts and was emoting and really delivering his like lines. I think I got to give him an A+ for his performance.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an A. I'll split the middle. I think you don't get better Keanu than you do in John Wick in that when I think top tier Keanu, I think The Matrix. That to me is like the holy grail of Keanu Reeves films and just things. And this I would put like right on par with that. I think he acts more in The Matrix. Like there's more dialogue, there's more delivery, there's more like interaction between him and characters. So that's why I wouldn't give it an A+ for John Wick. But he has a lot more, obviously, stunts, physical, acting and stuff in this. So that's why I'd put this just under. If I'm going to say The Matrix is A+ top tier Keanu, then I would put John Wick right under that.
I know I mentioned on a podcast episode months ago that I had just watched The Matrix for the first time and I really liked it. I watched The Matrix 2 and I was painfully, irrevocably bored. Oh my God. We had to watch that movie in 3 sittings. I know everyone's like unsubscribing from this podcast right now. Like we literally I would watch like half an hour and then I started nodding out and being like, babe, we got to finish this later. And we put it on the next night and I'd be like, yo, we need to finish this tomorrow night. It was, I have no interest in watching the other 2 Matrix movies.
As much as I love The Matrix, I feel very similarly about all the sequels. Like I just watched whatever the new one was that just came out. Yeah, Matrix Resurrection. And it was like, okay. I think I spent most of the time, I pulled a Nicole. I was scrolling my phone most of the time. I wasn't
in the theater, just rude as hell.
I wasn't like super invested in it. I remember loving the first one, thinking the second one was okay, and being like really, really bored and completely over it by the time I got to the third one. So I feel like that's an example of a movie that they just could have made one and then stopped. Yeah. And they didn't have to make more.
So I think John Wick is, in my humble opinion, John Wick is A+ Keanu. The Matrix is overrated Keanu. Hot take.
That makes me think about if Keanu kind of balances out how much energy he's putting into his like movies. All right, so in John Wick, it's a lot more physical, like actually for Keanu. Where in The Matrix, it's maybe a little the opposite. At least he has help with like CGI. He has more lines. I wonder if like he balances out how much he's going to put into it based on how he's going to be using his voice and his body.
Maybe.
I also wonder if, too, it depends on when you discover Keanu. Because then you mentioned you like just recently watched The Matrix for the first time. Okay, and didn't The Matrix come out in like 1998 or something like that?
I know.
Right. So what I'm saying,
She's like, so what you're saying is you're not really pop culture junkie. Okay, that's fine.
No, what I'm saying is like it's like, when did you discover Keanu? Like if you first saw Keanu in Speed, then that might be for you like top tier Keanu, and you saw it back in 1992 or whatever the heck. You know what I mean?
You know what I probably first saw Keanu Reeves in was The Lake House on that bad date from like 2006. I would have been like, who is this guy?
Who is that guy?
He's kind of dry.
So I feel like Matrix at the time,
Yeah, no, I see what
if I had watched it now, I might feel the same way that you do about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, my first Keanu was Hardball. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
I remember watching it as a child, and it tugged my heart. It was pretty sad. And thinking about it, I feel like I remember him really putting a lot into his character and his performance.
Is that movie about baseball?
It is.
It is.
Okay.
And
All
it's
right, I did see that.
acting with kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is almost physically more painful than anything he had to do in John Wick.
Exactly. So in John Wick, he's putting so much like physical like energy, and in Hardball, his physical energy is really towards like dealing with these kids. I don't know. I was just thinking some randomness because like
I get you. I think the important takeaway is that Keanu brings his A game to whatever he's doing, whether that's falling in love with Sandra Bullock or protecting these inner city kids on his baseball team or killing 77 people in a nightclub.
Who all deserved it, by the way.
All right. So if we're talking about all these movies that Keanu Reeves is in, which one should be our next Keanu 101 movie?
Ooh, what should be our next Keanu 101?
We were thinking Speed. It was mentioned already, and I have not seen that.
I actually haven't seen Speed either.
Have you?
Either.
Oh, it's the complete reverse. I'm the only one that's seen it.
Oh my God. Okay, I think that needs to be next. And it brings back our girl Sandy.
It does. Yeah, it does indeed. Speed, I think was the first time I ever saw Keanu Reeves in anything. I remember being very young and watching Speed and loving every second of it. So I'm excited to revisit it. I haven't seen it in a
The only
while.
way I've ever watched Speed is in like references on like Family Guy or like other shows. Just all I know is that somebody's in a bus and they can't go under 60 miles an hour.
And the bus won't stop.
Well, that wraps us up for today in our Keanu 101. Let's close the show with our social links.
You can find me, Shauna Trinidad, at Shauna Trinidad on Twitter and Instagram, ShaUnaTrinidad.
You can find me, Nicole, on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and Twitter at NAEldridge14.
You can find me, Haley, on Instagram at 30 Nerdy Thriving.
And this is Alex. Find me at ALCASNUN on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to visit us online at popculturejunkie.com, Facebook Pop Culture Junkie Podcast. Find us on Twitter at Pop Junkies and on Instagram at pop.culturejunkies. Remember, come back next week for another hit of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.